There is a silent thief among us, one that has robbed many of their dreams, stolen opportunities, and imprisoned countless souls. That thief is fear. Fear is not just an emotion. It is a mindset that cripples, limits, and keeps us from becoming who we were meant to be. It whispers lies, telling us we are not good enough, smart enough, or strong enough. It magnifies our weaknesses and blinds us to our strengths. But today I stand before you with a powerful truth. We have uncovered the key to overcoming fear, and it is truly liberating. Imagine a bird trapped in a cage for years. Even when the door is finally opened, it has wings, but it does not fly because it has been conditioned to believe it is still imprisoned. Many of us live the same way, trapped not by real chains, but by the illusion of fear. Fear is a prison we build in our minds. But here's the truth. The door has always been open. All we need to do is step out. Why do people fear the dark? Because they can't see what's in it. Fear thrives when knowledge is absent. The moment we shine the light of truth, fear begins to disappear. When you understand who you are and why you are here, fear loses its grip on you. The key to courage is knowledge. The more you learn, the more you grow, and the less you fear. Fear and faith are two sides of the same coin. Fear believes in failure. Faith believes in possibility. Fear looks at the storm. Faith sees beyond it. Every great leader, every history maker, every person who has changed the world had one thing in common. They chose faith over fear. They refused to let their doubts dictate their destiny. And today, I challenge you to do the same. The final key to overcoming fear is purpose. Purpose is the fire that burns brighter than any doubt. When you discover why you were created, no obstacle can stop you. A lion never fears a hyena because it knows who it is. Likewise, when you know your identity and your purpose, fear becomes powerless. You will no longer be intimidated by failure because your vision will be greater than your fear. Fear has kept you in chains for too long. Today I urge you, step out of the prison, embrace the truth of who you are. Choose faith over doubt. Walk boldly in your purpose. Because when you do, you will experience the greatest feeling in the world, freedom. And that, my friends, is truly liberating. Fear is one of the most powerful forces that shape human behavior. It controls decisions, limits potential, and holds people back from pursuing their true calling. It is not just an emotion, it is a mental prison that traps individuals within invisible walls of doubt, insecurity, and hesitation. The irony of fear is that it often exists more in the mind than in reality. It is a deceptive force, whispering thoughts of failure, rejection, and inadequacy, making people believe they are incapable of achieving their dreams. The greatest battles are not fought on battlefields, but within the mind. The mind, when dominated by fear, becomes a cage where dreams die, talents remain undiscovered, and opportunities are lost. Many people live their entire lives imprisoned by the fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of uncertainty, or even fear of success. They hesitate to take risks, speak their minds, or step out of their comfort zone. They settle for less than they are capable of because fear convinces them that it is safer to remain where they are than to reach for something greater. Fear paralyzes, making even the strongest individuals feel weak. It creates endless what-if scenarios, filling the mind with imaginary consequences that rarely ever come true. A person who dreams of starting a business may fear losing money, facing criticism, or failing publicly. As a result, they never take the first step. Another person may dream of becoming a speaker, a leader, or an artist, but fear convinces them that they are not talented enough, smart enough, or worthy enough. These fears do not come from reality, but from a mindset shaped by past failures, negative experiences, and external influences. The prison of fear is built gradually, brick by brick, through experiences that reinforce the idea that taking risks is dangerous. A child who is laughed at for speaking up may grow into an adult who fears public speaking. A person who faces rejection may start believing they are not good enough for success. Over time, these fears become deeply ingrained beliefs, controlling thoughts, actions, and decisions. The worst part of this mental prison is that it feels real. The walls seem unbreakable, and the locked doors appear impossible to open. But the truth is, fear is an illusion. The doors of the prison are never actually locked. History is filled with stories of individuals who refuse to remain prisoners of fear. Every great leader, inventor, or change maker had moments of doubt but chose to act despite their fears. They understood that the only way to escape the prison was to challenge its walls, to question the fears that held them back, and to step forward even when uncertainty loomed. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to move forward despite it. The key to breaking free from fear is understanding that it has no real power except the power that is given to it. The mind can be trained to recognize fear for what it is, a deceptive thought, not an unchangeable reality. The moment a person realizes that their fears are nothing more than illusions, the walls of the prison begin to crumble. They start taking steps they once feared. And as they do, they realize that the danger they imagined was never really there. Fear loses its power when confronted with action. Every step taken against fear weakens its hold. A person afraid of public speaking becomes confident by speaking more. Someone who fears failure grows stronger by taking risks and learning from setbacks. Each act of courage adds another crack in the prison walls until eventually they collapse completely. Fear is not a life sentence. It is a temporary illusion that only remains as long as it is believed in. The moment one decides to step beyond fear, they step into true freedom. The freedom to dream, to achieve, and to live without limits. Knowledge is one of the most powerful forces in the world, and it has the ability to transform fear into confidence. Fear often thrives in the absence of knowledge, feeding on uncertainty, doubt, and misunderstanding. When people do not know what lies ahead, they hesitate, question themselves, and retreat into the safety of what is familiar. However, when knowledge enters the equation, fear begins to weaken and courage starts to grow. The more a person understands a situation, a challenge, or even themselves, the more equipped they become to face what once seemed intimidating. Ignorance is a breeding ground for fear. When people do not have the right information or understanding, their minds fill in the gaps with assumptions, worst-case scenarios, and exaggerated dangers. A person afraid of failure often lacks knowledge about the learning process and how success is built through persistence and growth. Someone who fears speaking in public may not understand that great speakers were once beginners who improved through practice and preparation. A person who fears an unfamiliar culture, environment, or person may simply lack exposure and experience, making the unknown seem much scarier than it truly is. In all these cases, fear is not based on reality, but on the absence of understanding. When knowledge is gained, it replaces fear with clarity. A student who once feared math finds confidence when they understand the formulas and concepts. An entrepreneur who feared business failure grows bold when they learn strategies for success and resilience. A person once afraid of the dark loses their fear when they understand that there is nothing hiding in the shadows. Knowledge shines a light on the unknown, turning what once seemed overwhelming into something manageable. It removes the mystery and replaces it with certainty. Courage does not come from blindly ignoring fear, but from understanding it and knowing how to overcome it. Knowledge provides a foundation on which courage can stand. A firefighter is not fearless because they are reckless, but because they are trained, prepared, and knowledgeable about how to handle fire. A doctor does not fear performing surgery because they have spent years gaining the knowledge and skills needed to save lives. A leader does not shrink in the face of challenges because they understand how to navigate difficulties and inspire others. In each case, courage is not the absence of fear, but the presence of knowledge that makes fear powerless. One of the greatest benefits of knowledge is that it shifts perspective. Many people live with self-doubt because they do not truly understand their own potential. They underestimate what they are capable of, not because they lack ability, but because they lack the knowledge of what is possible. The moment they learn about their own strengths, their hidden talents, and the limitless nature of human potential, they begin to see themselves differently. They start to realize that they are not as limited as they once thought, and their confidence grows. The fear that once held them back no longer has the same grip because they now know they have the power to rise above it. History has shown that those who seek knowledge become fearless in their pursuits. Every great inventor, scientist, and leader had to overcome fears and doubts, but they did so by learning more, understanding more, and using that knowledge to push past their limitations. They did not wait for courage to arrive on its own. They built it by expanding their understanding. The more they knew, the more confident they became in their ability to overcome obstacles, solve problems, and achieve greatness. Fear loses its control when knowledge is embraced. Every time a person learns something new, they take one step closer to courage. Every time they replace uncertainty with understanding, they weaken fear's hold. Knowledge is not just information. It is a weapon against fear, a tool for confidence, and the key that unlocks true. Faith is the most powerful antidote to fear. Fear is rooted in doubt, uncertainty, and the expectation of failure, while faith is built on trust, assurance, and the belief in possibilities. These two forces cannot coexist because they pull in opposite directions. One leads to limitation, the other to liberation. Fear tells a person that they are not capable, that they are not enough. Faith, on the other hand, declares that even in uncertainty, there is hope. Even in weakness, there is strength. And even in challenges, there is a way forward. Fear operates by magnifying problems, making them seem larger than they really are. It causes hesitation, second-guessing, and inaction. Many people remain stuck in life, not because they lack talent or potential, but because they are too afraid to take the next step. Fear convinces them that they are not ready, that the risks are too great, or that failure is inevitable. But faith sees beyond the immediate circumstances. Faith does not deny the presence of obstacles, but it refuses to be controlled by them. Faith says, yes, there are challenges, but I will move forward anyway. When a person chooses faith over fear, they shift their focus from the problem to the possibility. Fear is always concerned with the worst-case scenario. What if I fail? What if I'm rejected? What if things don't go as planned? But faith asks different questions. What if I succeed? What if this challenge is actually an opportunity? What if everything is working out for my good? This change in mindset is powerful because what a person focuses on determines their reality. If they constantly think about fear, they will remain paralyzed by it. But if they focus on faith, they will find the strength to take action. One of the greatest sources of fear is the unknown. People fear what they do not understand and what they cannot control. The future is uncertain, and this uncertainty can create anxiety and hesitation. But faith thrives in the unknown. Faith is the ability to move forward even when the outcome is unclear, trusting that the right path will reveal itself along the way. Some of the greatest achievements in history were made by people who had no guarantee of success, yet they stepped forward in faith. They did not wait for certainty. They moved despite uncertainty, believing that something greater was ahead. Faith empowers people to take risks. Without faith, no great invention would have been created, no great movement would have started, and no great leader would have risen. Every breakthrough requires someone to believe in something greater than their fear. Faith is what allows an entrepreneur to start a business despite the possibility of failure. It is what gives an artist the courage to share their work with the world, even at the risk of criticism. It is what drives a leader to stand up for what is right, even when opposition is strong. Faith is the force that pushes people beyond their comfort zones and into their purpose. The beauty of faith is that it transforms fear into growth. When a person chooses faith, they step into challenges with a new perspective. Instead of seeing failure as the end, they see it as a lesson. Instead of viewing difficulties as obstacles, they see them as opportunities to grow stronger. Faith gives people resilience, the ability to rise after setbacks, and the courage to keep going even when the path is difficult. Choosing faith over fear is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Fear may feel safe because it keeps a person from taking risks, but it also keeps them from reaching their full potential. Faith, however, may feel uncertain, but it leads to freedom, purpose, and the realization of dreams. The moment a person decides to trust in faith rather than be controlled by fear, they unlock a new level of confidence, strength, and endless possibilities. Purpose is one of the most powerful forces in life. It gives direction, meaning, and a reason to push forward despite challenges. Fear thrives in confusion, uncertainty, and a lack of direction. But the moment purpose is discovered, fear begins to lose its grip. When a person understands why they are here and what they are meant to do, fear becomes secondary to the mission they are driven to accomplish. Purpose provides clarity, and clarity destroys hesitation. It turns fear into fuel, transforming obstacles into stepping stones rather than roadblocks. A person without purpose is easily shaken by fear. They are unsure of their abilities, hesitant about their decisions, and constantly worried about what others think. This uncertainty creates room for doubt, and doubt feeds fear. But when someone has a strong sense of purpose, their focus shifts. They are no longer consumed by what might go wrong. Instead, they are consumed by what must be done. Purpose replaces fear with conviction. It gives people a reason to wake up in the morning with determination instead of hesitation. Throughout history, the most fearless individuals were not those without challenges or dangers, but those who had a deep understanding of their purpose. A person who knows their purpose is willing to step into the unknown, take risks, and endure difficulties because they are driven by something greater than fear. Purpose is what makes a leader stand against injustice, even when it is dangerous. It is what makes an entrepreneur take a bold step to build something new despite the risk. It is what makes an artist share their work with the world, even if they fear rejection. When purpose is clear, fear becomes irrelevant. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with fear is that they do not know what they are fighting for. Without purpose, challenges feel overwhelming, risks seem unbearable, and failure appears final. But when purpose is discovered, every challenge becomes a necessary step toward fulfilling a mission. Suddenly, fear is no longer something to avoid. It becomes something to conquer because there is something greater at stake. When the purpose gives a person the strength to stand tall in the face of adversity, to keep going when the odds are against them, and to believe in something bigger than themselves. Fear often causes hesitation, leading to missed opportunities and unfulfilled potential. People who lack purpose spend too much time worrying about what might happen instead of taking action. They wait for the perfect moment, but the perfect moment never comes. Purpose-driven individuals, however, do not wait for everything to be certain. They move forward despite uncertainty because they understand that their mission is bigger than their fears. They recognize that waiting for fear to disappear is a waste of time, because fear only fades when action is taken. A lion does not fear a hyena because it knows its identity and its role. Likewise, a person who knows their purpose does not live in fear of failure or rejection. They understand that their journey will have challenges, but those challenges are simply part of the path to achieving their goals. Purpose shifts focus from fear to destiny, from doubt to determination. It gives people the confidence to embrace failure as a lesson rather than a limitation. The greatest tragedy is not failure, but a life lived without purpose. A person who never discovers their purpose will always be controlled by fear, living cautiously, avoiding risks, and settling for less than they are capable of. But the moment they connect with their true purpose, fear loses its power. They begin to walk boldly, speak confidently, and act decisively. They realize that fear is only an illusion, a distraction from what truly matters. Purpose does not just weaken fear, it destroys it, allowing individuals to step into their full potential and live a life of meaning, impact, and fulfillment. Fear has held too many people back for too long. It has silenced voices, stolen dreams, and kept countless individuals from stepping into their true potential. But today we stand at a turning point. We have uncovered the key to overcoming fear, and it is truly liberating. The moment we recognize that fear is nothing more than a shadow, an illusion that loses power when confronted, we take back control. No longer will we allow fear to dictate our decisions. No longer will we let doubt keep us from pursuing our calling. We will replace fear with faith, ignorance with knowledge, hesitation with purpose. We will step forward boldly, not because we are fearless, but because we refuse to let fear define us. The door to freedom has always been opened. The only question is, will you walk through it? Will you choose to rise above fear and step into the life you were meant to live? Today is the day to break free, to reclaim your power, and to embrace the limitless possibilities ahead. Because once you overcome fear, you don't just live, you soar. And that, my friends, is true liberation. Thank you.